Go.
My grandmother was, in my opinion, a truthful person. She always abided by the law. She served the Lord. If her children told lies, they went to bed without dinner, and with the taste of soap still strong in their mouths. That's why the story bothers me so much. It has to be a lie. Well, Grandma was 92 when I heard it, and her brain was starting to fail. Maybe she really thought it was true. Who knows? Maybe she will convince you as well. I'll try to keep the story in order like she told me. She was in an assisted living facility then. It was late, and the two of us each had each other for company. Grandma's eyes looked tired, and she moved her jaw a couple of times, and she started.
It all happened in 42 or 43. It was during World War II. Whenever Herbert went somewhere, I tried to go along. We lived in Vermont. I think Herbert had some business to do across the river in Claremont. Okay, cold snow. New Hampshire. Well, Herbert had to go about 25 miles. We were going to leave after work Friday, and when we got there, we could have a good meal, maybe see a movie. Stop. Right, stop, you're going to waste it all. See a movie, spend the night at a hotel, and come back Saturday. I don't remember the months. It was sometime in the winter, because it was cold outside. It was snowing, because Herbert had to keep the wipers going the whole way. It was sunset when I first saw her. I know because I first saw her in the headlights. Neither of us spoke. Herbert slowed down and she stopped walking. She didn't say anything, but she looked like she wanted a ride. The road was lonely, and there weren't many cars. First, Herbert slowed down, and then he backed up and I rolled down the window. She was pretty, about 18 or 20, with a round face and big eyes. She had straight brown hair, and the snow made her whole face shine. But she was wearing a light red polka dotted dress. In the midst of this weather, I don't remember anybody talking. Just opened my door and she climbed in. We started off and I asked her where she was going. Claremont. She said it like it took all the breath in her lungs to say that.
We're going there. You're lucky.
And we rode on. I turned around a few times and smiled kind of sadly. I didn't want to stare at her, but who was she? And why was she on this road at night? I'd never been one to ask questions. I had taken off my hat when it had gotten warm. When it had gotten warm, and gave it to her. It started to snow harder. Just before the river, Herbert started to speak.
It's raining really hard, and we got time to take you home.
Oh, could you really? That would be great. To my parents' house on the corner of Bond and Mason. Claremont must have been nice to grow up in. You couldn't hear her breathing. I sat back and enjoyed the ride. We crossed into Claremont, and Herbert turned onto Bond Street. We went along looking for the street across our very lovely figure. We went looking along the street. Mason was on the outskirts, and there was only one house on the opposite side of the street. Herbert turned around, and there was no one back there. I looked at him, and he looked at me wide-eyed. I looked back on the floor. Nothing. The floor was a little wet where her feet had been.
So, where did she get out?
At a stoplight? We knew this couldn't be. If they would have been open, we would have felt it. Yet there had to be some explanation. We headed towards the house. It was square house with lights on in almost every room, and bright spots covered the lawn. The name on the door was J.R. Bullard. It was opened by a man about 50.
Excuse me, but there seems to be there seems to be some mystery. Your daughter.
That's you again.
Daughter? Why we don't have a daughter?
We did have a daughter, but she's dead. But Carol's dead.
But Carol is dead. You see, she was buried 4 months ago in Calhoun Cemetery.
We both knew where this was. It was across the river on the Vermont side.
Then who? Excuse us. It's all a mistake.
Just a minute. Could you describe to us what Carol looked like? They exchanged glances as if they were worried. And then, it wasn't about their daughter. It was about us. Kind of short, round face, big eyes, straight brown hair. We said goodbye and hurried back to the car. We drove around looking for Carol, across the bridge, back into town, at every stoplight. But this was doing no good. The only answers that we had the ghost of Carol Bullard in the back seat. And we had proof. See, ghosts can't cross water. That's why Carol had to disappear when we crossed the bridge. We didn't get much sleep that night. Then in the morning, we realized my hat had disappeared with her. It was a good hat. See, because wartime clothes were expensive, I would sometimes blow a week's worth of pay and buy myself something nice, like that hat. Herbert and I decided to stop by Calhoun Cemetery. We looked through all the stones. Finally, we found a simple gravestone. All the stone said was Carol Bullard. Next to the stone was my hat. True or not, you decide.
Look, sister.
Okay.
Wait. That one is.
Okay, well. Come on, boys, let's go.
Okay. Where is my one? Over there.
Oh, are you serious?
Okay, let's go now. You know I'm filming all this, right?
Oh.
Run!
Retreat like that.
Okay, boys.
Okay.
Come on, Grandma. No time for bracelet.
Well, Grandma was 92 when she really, Grandma was 92 when I heard it, and her brain was starting to fail. Maybe she really thought it was true. Who knows? Maybe she will convince you as well. I'll try to keep the story in order like she told me. She was in an assisted living facility then. It was late, and the two of us each had each other for company. Grandma's eyes looked tired, and she moved her jaw a couple times and then started. On Saturday Night Live or something.
Will you stop criticizing my pen? I mean, really.
I'm not criticizing your pen. I'm criticizing the fact that the pen is in your hair.
Okay, who's that? Random person.
Are they waiting? Is there a ball game or something?
Don't know.
My grandmother was, in my opinion, a truthful person. She always abided by the law. She served the Lord. And if her children told lies, they went to bed without dinner and with the taste of soap still strong in their mouths. That's why this story bothers me so much. It has to be a lie. Well, Grandma was 92 when I heard it, and her brain was starting to fail. Maybe she really thought it was true. Who knows? Maybe she will convince you as well. I'll try to keep the story in the order like she told me. She was in an assisted living facility then. It was late. The two of us had each other for company. Grandma's eyes looked tired. She moved her jaw a couple of times and then started.